Hello, people of YouTube. My name is Steve Gray, and thank you for watching. Today we are talking about Dr. Stone Season 2, Episode 3, or Dr. Stone, The Stone Wars, Episode 3, whichever you prefer. So we got a new ally. Her name is Nikki. She calls herself Butch. She looks pretty attractive, I'm gonna be honest with her. I don't know what the age range is, so it may be slightly creepy. We're gonna say she's 18. I'm gonna hope she's 18. If not, I'm walking away. Cute girl. We'll go with that. And we win her on our side. So we start off kind of where we left off with episode 2, with Senku talking to Taiju, and Taiju is still very, very excited. He's crying. He's like, "I am Senku." And then Senku's like, "Relax, get a hold of yourself. I get that you're excited. I'm excited too, but you got to compose yourself because shit's about to go down. It's about to get serious, and we got a plan." Basically, they've been going to their Senku's grave every day. Is how they discovered it. Is Senku said, "Hey, you better go to visit my grave." So they made a grave for Senku. Yuzuria and Taiju went to it every day until they noticed that the dirt was distilled. Nobody really goes to Senku's grave, which is why Gen buried it in the first place, because they were under attack from Uko. It's like Ukyo, Yukio. I think so. Yukio. I think that sounds right to me, Yukio. And they had to kind of make a diversion in order to get Gen back to the Kingdom of Science, in order to trick somebody into believing that he was Lillian, in order to win them to Senku's side. Plan doesn't go exactly according to plan, but it works nonetheless, or nevertheless. So what happens in the mix of this is Chrome has an extra battery for the cell phone. He puts the two fuse ends together, positive to negative, and if you've ever jump-started a car or put terminals in a car, sometimes that it sparks. That's exactly what happened. Sparked, caused smoke, caused a fire, and Chrome uses it as a distraction in order to, yell, making noises at Ukyo. And then Magma jumps in there too, and we don't really know what their fate is right now. It basically ends off with Gen getting away, and they are it looked like almost an arrow was drawn on them. So it is a real possibility that Tsukasa is going to have a couple of prisoners. I don't think Magma would go down. I think Magma would end up dying. I'll be honest with you. Magma doesn't seem like he's the type of person to surrender in a fight. He more seems like he is the type of person that would, keep fighting until his last breath, as we saw in the first season, and until he caught on fire at one point and then got hit in the nuts. But sometimes you got to play dirty sometimes. That is what it is. So basically, Nikki is the guard. She is very trusted by Tsukasa, by the seams of it. She is tasked with watching over Taiju and Yuzuria to see if they're ever getting in contact with somebody suspicious, getting in contact with Senku. And her job is basically to report back to Tsukasa if, there's any red flags, any issues. Tsukasa takes it upon himself to make her the first one who she hears over the phone through Senku and through Gen. Well, Gen pretending to be Lillian. Little do they know, she is a super fan. And I'm telling you, a massive super fan, to the point where she knows her body proportions, knows how many sales of CDs she made. Lucky, Senku is super freaking smart, realized how much it cost to go to the International Space Station, figured he'd double that, and then did some other crazy science stuff that kind of went by so quick it kind of blew over your head. But he was able to roughly calculate how many millions of CDs she sold. And he was like, "Oh, it was about 50 million, but not all of that comes from CDs, so I'm not exactly sure," which is kind of crazy. So then the next thing is body proportions. And because everything is photoshopped in images, she's never going to release her real body proportions online. Most celebrities don't, to my knowledge, unless somebody, does math and figures it out, which Senku also had to do. Senku kind of had a, mental image of his father. He has, I think he can almost, he might be able to memorize like everything. I don't remember what that is, identical memory. I believe it's called. I think he has that ability. But he remembered a picture of his stepfather and her standing next to each other. Kind of generally got the proportions, said them, and then Nikki was like, "That's not true. You're not that." He was like, "That's not true." And then it was like, "Well, Photoshop and everything," and she kind of believed it. And she was getting to the point where she was like, "You're not the real Lillian. I will literally kill you, if you aren't." And then Senku was like, "Just whatever, do it. Play the music." It's a lot better now because Kaseki actually invented a coil, which is like a coil inside of a, crankable watch, turnable watch, if you're familiar with watches. The old ones, you used to be able to wind them. So it's like a giant spring. Basically, this had allowed him to play the record to a better quality over the phone, and because she was a super fan, even though it wasn't Lillian, she was happy that one of her songs survived all of this time. And she asked, is Lillian alive? Senku said no. She asked, can you bring back more songs? Senku said no, but he said he would guard, the disc with his life, because they're going to need it to try to win over other people from Tsukasa's empire. And she ultimately decided that she was going to go to their side. Tsukasa and Yuzuriha are happy. They got a friend. They have an ally. And I think the next person we're going to need to win over is Ukyo. And I say that because he was the first one we saw this season of the Tsukasa Empire that we were not particularly familiar with. Homaru is already caught, so we don't have to worry about that. Who knows what Hoga's doing, if you remember Hoga. We saw a bunch of other people, some with more distinct features than others throughout it. They were like sitting down eating meat. There was like, your big, tough, muscular lugged dudes. And then there's like one guy with spiky hair. It looks like he's got a piece of stone covering his one eye still. So I'm guessing he may be important in the future as well. I'm not really sure. But my guess is next person we're going to win over is Ukyo. We don't really know exactly what is going to happen next episode, but my guess it's going to be kind of a one-by-one situation, bringing people over from Tsukasa's empire to the Science Kingdom. And eventually either Tsukasa is going to catch on, or there's going to be some people that are like, nah, I don't care, I like living in this world of the strongest are on top, the weakest are at the bottom. I don't care about science and all this other crap. We're going to mold the world to our way. We don't want it back to the way it was. And then they're going to inform Tsukasa, and there's going to be a problem. Cell phone-wise, they have it. They know where it is. They're keeping it hidden right now because obviously they don't really have a room or a place to hide it in. They may dig it up and put it somewhere else. But how are they going to hide it? That's the good question. Not a lot of people go to Senku's grave, so it seems like the logical place for it to stay at this point in time. It actually was 1 year, so it was kind of interesting because as Taiju is crying in the beginning, as he hears Senku's voice, Nikki's like, what is it, like the year anniversary that he died or something? And ironically it was, so it kind of all played out to Senku's benefit. We know Senku's good with dates, so it probably was exactly 1 year. And everybody's just amazed that Senku has a cell phone, obviously. Nikki's like, I think I love you. And he was like, no, please don't. Senku's the man. He's getting all the ladies, it seems like. I always thought that was kind of funny how he is definitely not about the women. He is 100% into his craft. Maybe he'll grow to fall in love with somebody one day, but don't expect that anytime soon. Our love story is still going to be Taiju and Yuzuriha for right now, and possibly Ruri and Chrome. But there hasn't been a lot of love interest because we got a war going on, so a lot of that stuff is on hold. But I'm sure, like every shonen anime, it'll come into play two episodes before the last, as it seems with most of them. That love connection is never going to happen. Think of Uraraka and Deku. Young Midoriya. Think of it that way too. That's probably what's going to happen there, is they're finally going to get together like last episode. But who knows? We'll wait and see what happens. Episode rating, 8 out of 10 I'm going to go with this one. Really decent episode. Definitely made me want to view more. Make sure you check out The Promised Neverland tomorrow too. I'm going to be filming that tonight as well because they're both released today. So why not, get the reviews done on the same day, give myself a little break, even though I probably got to do Jujutsu Kaisen tomorrow anyway. But if you made it this far, hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, leave a like, feel free to comment down below what you would like me to do for future anime and cartoon related videos. My name is Steve Gray. Thank you for watching, and as always, have a good one.